Hey there, Miss Blair. I had to take a little break from work and to come home, and there is tons of work being done at our property. So it never ends. We live in a society that requires one hand to really take care of the other. It takes a village. So, I was reading your message, and I had noticed an uncertainty about your situation. And first and foremost, I would never be in a situation where only trust blindly leads me into the dark. That is the practicality of don't trust anything so much that you go off with an uncomfortable situation. And don't trick yourself into believing because something is uncomfortable that your inner being is trying to tell you that's not how you feel. That's the real gray area with the inner guidance system. But what I felt from your question, and I can be the king of misunderstanding. But what I felt from your question was that you're so free. You can choose bondage. And what I mean by that is, we go through our lives where the attachment of the things that once brought us peace outgrows the need to keep it up. So all that you have, you must serve. So everything in this world is relationship based. Guns aren't the problem, it's our relationship with guns. Drugs aren't the problem, it's our relationship with guns. Relationships aren't the problem, it's our relationship with them and with each other. But that begins at an eternal understanding of the relationship with you and what that really means. You're so free, you can choose to stay. And you're so free, you can choose to walk away. We live on a hill, and there's tons of oak trees and mostly paper birches, if you've ever heard of them. White birches, they get massive. I want to believe they're a fruitless pear. These paper birches get so big, the roots don't continue into the ground that the size weighing against them is supportive enough. So, in your message, I had noticed that you were a little uncertain. And that, looking deeper into what you're saying, strikes the largest topic ever. And one of the most important things, I think, that as spiritual activist or whatever you want to label yourself in the grand scheme of things, an understanding of the truth. The truth that I know, and I'm sure there are many others who would agree. Who would agree with us. You see, the unconscious master is your mind. And the slave is the universe. It keeps giving you more and more and more of what you're expecting or what you're talking about. So whether you serendipitously, haphazardly walk into a situation completely aloof, or whether you talk about it, speak about it, and brought it to yourself or planned it. Either way, once the ball starts rolling downhill, you're not going to stop the momentum until you decide to get out of its way. And that's what you got to see here. It's not so much about the other person, but it's your relationship with yourself that's creating bondage. And this bondage is coming out in your experience to other people. But the truth is, you're addicted to letting someone have control over you. Possibly. And that might need to be something the entire world has to address. Because I feel like your question is the world at large speaking through you. And I love addressing mass unconsciousness. That's what we're here to do. We're here to take the unconscious factor. It's the things you don't see, and it's right there in your message. You see, you give power to every bit of it. Not me, not anyone else. God gives us this creation ability, which allows us in turn to get power. So, like Wayne Dyer used to say, people would come up to him and be like, "I don't know how to get a date. I don't know how to get a date," and then he'd be like, "Well, that's why you're not getting a date." It's so simple. It's missed. And then when it's an accident, you don't know whether to be happy or to see that it was on purpose. The universe is working for you, but it's not working for the you that's feeling the results. That's the you that's in time. You see, the results don't matter. When in the very moment, you can decide how far forward or how far backwards you take your energy. So if the world is beckoning you to call, it's up to you if you want to answer the phone. And if there is someone stringing you down a trail, you know, like the carrot with the stick and the rabbit, it's up to you to put the stick down. See, it's all your choice. You're so free, you can choose bondage. And a lot of times relationships take a lot of work. But in this case, it sounds very new. And unless you know everything going forward in 2025, I wouldn't go that way, because that way could lead straight to the castle. I hope that explained it up a little bit without going too deep in a rabbit hole. Comment and let me know if there's anything that I can clarify for you. I'd like to have an open dialogue, but we got to find some time in between this to get it right. We'll never get it done. But as a creator, know that God would never get you to speak of enemies, and God would never get you to follow someone to your death. It's all false God stuff. God sees heaven and hell with an equal eye. Trash and treasure are the exact same to the universe. It's all creation. So where you want to put your time is ultimately only going to be measured by you. Don't walk off the cliff. You know, keep your heart with the universe, and you'll see that your problems will go away. And a lot of times we put too much expectation on people, and that causes their castle to knock over yours. So let them off the hook. Get to know yourself a little bit first. I always say, don't ask God for anything that you can't do yourself. So as shit rolls downhill, don't ever put the expectation on someone else to make you happy. And I don't blame the government for doing what's what. I believe we all have the ability to take care of ourselves. And it's a learning path. We all have to start somewhere. And, you know, it's mass unconsciousness, the ego, the egregore, that if there were to be any control plot of conspiranoia, I would look there. It's an internal connection to what I consider the greatest sin, and that's to turn a blind eye. But just because you decide to look at something, that lets you know whether you have the power to collect it, take it with you, or leave it there. So you may not have the power to avoid seeing it, but you have the power to replicate it or to hang it up on the shelf. And when I clearly see that something is a waste of time, no hard feelings, you know, go do something else. Start over. You can start over every day. Every day is a brand new day. I really appreciate your time. Have a blessed day. Make sure you like and subscribe.